I've spent the last few days on the Gaza front, and what I saw there, what I heard there, were incessant airstrikes, tank shelling, the incursion visible and very, very audible. Here's the latest ground report that I sent in for India today that depicts what I saw and heard from the front. The ground operation is getting definitely more intense. And now it's an air, sea and land attack on the Gaza Strip. In there is the Gaza Strip. It's sometimes difficult to believe it's so close because we've been talking about it so much. On the ground in Gaza, it doesn't look like Israel is playing ball with Hamas. There's been a rocket intercept. I think there's been a rocket intercept. That's the northern end of Gaza behind me, and we arrive here just after Israel has finally begun a big-scale ground operation into the Gaza Strip. It's an air, sea and land attack on the Gaza Strip. Thus far it was primarily a relentless series of airstrikes. There were some special forces naval strikes. Gunboats were also softening up targets, on the coast of Gaza and, port infrastructure of the Hamas. But now with tanks rolling in, as special forces have been there for a while, but with tanks rolling in, it becomes a ground invasion. We don't know how many tanks there were, but a video put out by the Israeli Defense Forces suggested there was a solid column of tanks that had rolled in right now. Obviously, the number is not going to be revealed. We've just seen at least 3 airstrikes while we've been here. If you kind of squint into the distance, you can actually see 2 plumes of smoke. So not very far from where we are, one strike and another a little distant. So 150 airstrikes took place. We understand from what the IDF has told us, because there's very little independent information coming in from Gaza, which has been completely shut out, with the internet and communications being completely knocked out. Okay, there's been a rocket intercept. I think there's been a rocket intercept right over here. Okay. There's been a rocket intercept. Just one second. I want to try and show you this image. Okay. Right over our heads. Right over our heads, there's been a rocket intercept, which means we need to probably take cover. But one of our constant companions through our coverage here has been a Hermes 900 drone. In the background you can just about perhaps hear the hum of that drone. It's a constant audio companion here because that drone is up in the air, giving Israeli Defense Forces a complete bird's eye view of what things are looking like as those bombs drop in Gaza behind me. Hostage situation has actually gone critical right now, because after 22 days of operations, it looks like something is fundamentally flipped in how Israel is looking at this whole thing. When the Prime Minister and the Defense Minister of Israel met with the families of the hostages, there was a great deal of anger because they believe that they've not been notified about these ground operations, and they believe that this increasing intensity of ground operations actually jeopardizes their family and the hostages who may be hidden in some of these tunnels, who may be hidden in some of these positions. The Hamas last week, remember, had said that 50 of the hostages have been killed as a result of Israeli airstrikes. There's no confirmation of this, no proof of this has been provided so far, but you can imagine the levels of anxiety among the families. Because so far they had thought that the ground invasion was not happening because, out of concern for the safety of the hostages. But now that it's going through and it's increasing in intensity, does that mean that Israel is, no longer prioritizing the hostages? Because Prime Minister Netanyahu and the Defense Minister have both said that they are doing everything they possibly can to bring the hostages back. But how does that align with, incessant, airstrikes and bombing and tank shelling that's taking place in that area? There's a huge huge risk for the IDF in getting into these tunnels and navigating them, because that'll put their own soldiers and officers at a great deal of risk, because they will be entering an area, which is kind of the Hamas's area. They know it better than the IDF, no matter how much technology the IDF may have. So this is going to be a huge risk. How they navigate it, how they actually are able to turn the tables on Hamas as far as the tunnels are concerned, is going to be, in my view, one of the principal challenges of this urban warfare campaign. We've just arrived here amidst multiple plumes of smoke. You can hear F-16s in the air. There's definitely tank shelling coming from that direction. We're standing right at the tip of the northern end of the Gaza Strip. That's the fence behind me. There's a huge haze of cloud over part of it. You can hear machine gun fire. So all manner of ammunition, now being used, and can not only be seen but can also be heard over here. That's medium machine gun fire. I'll tell you what all I can hear that's being dropped on Gaza right now from this particular position near Sderot in southern Israel. Okay, that was an airstrike. You can hear an airstrike in the distance, probably somewhere near Gaza City. You can see a great deal of smoke right over there, probably where an airstrike has just happened, or where a tank shell has just probably landed. There's machine gun fire, which is likely coming from an attack helicopter, though we can't hear that just yet. There are multiple aircraft in the air, and remember, this is a few hours after 150 airstrikes apparently happened overnight, where the Hamas naval commander, the aviation wing head, was also apparently killed. Further south from here is where bunker busters, which are penetration bombs, are being used to hit Hamas tunnels. But this is the northern end, so even this part where the actual incursion has happened into Gaza is being softened up and hit quite a bit. Further south from the tanks, there's a great deal of special forces who've also entered from the sea as well as from the middle part of it. In that direction, which is the northeastern end of Gaza, is where a lot of tanks have entered from another particular part, and that's probably why the echo of tank shelling is coming from that direction. But this is very, very much the beginning or the setting of the stage for a larger ground incursion. This is a visible and an audible escalation that we're reporting right from the Gaza front. This is Shiv Arur in Sderot, Israel, for India Today.